You ever get that sense you just walked into somebody else's fever dream? That's what I experienced when I was sued by the nuttiest Karen I've ever met over HOA regulations that didn't even pertain to me. I mean, imagine this. I don't even reside in her HOA. Never have. But that did not deter her from marching into court with a lawsuit like it was a golden ticket set on destroying me for having the nerve to create something good for the community. She had no idea that it would only take 3 minutes for her whole 10-year empire to burn down. And pal, I was the one with the match. But wait, I'm jumping ahead. The thing is, Karen was not your typical busybody HOA president with a bad due and too much free time. She was hiding something larger. Something in the ballpark of 50,000 clams hidden away on public property. Yeah, jaws dropped. But rewind a sec. My name is Jake Robinson, and all I ever wanted was to give the local kids a place to play. Nothing fancy, just a real playground where parents didn't have to worry about broken bottles or rusty nails. So, there I was, 6 a.m. on a Saturday, sweating my butt off, drilling holes for a swing set, minding my own business, and then bam, here comes that sound. You remember. High heels, slapping the ground with enough anger that trouble's headed straight for you. Meet Karen Linda Patterson if you must be formal. She's wearing a red power suit so vibrant I could have sworn it sent the bird flying blonde bob so pointed that I think it could cut bread, and she's holding this curled up map in her hand like she's going to bludgeon me with it. You have any idea who I am? She screams now. I attempt to be civil. Do. But already she's telling me about how she does business in Willow Creek HOA and I need her approval for everything. The way she spoke, you'd have believed she was a suburban warlord. I explained to her nicely, you see, this is city-approved land, public land. But she simply waves a hand like she is shooing a fly and begins ranting about quality of life for her tenants and how I'm living somehow beyond their gaze but impacting their community. Then the threat that she's going to sue me for infringing on her right to control the space. You can't make this stuff up. Can't make this. Thing is, it wasn't only her sense of entitlement that irked me. It was the terror I caught glimpsing in her eyes every time she glanced at that playground equipment. As if she wasn't merely concerned about HOA pride. No, she was actually frightened, but of what? My playground. That's when the circus began. Next morning, like clockwork, she's standing on her balcony at 700 sharp. Binoculars stuck to her face, following my every step like some cheap spy store. She called the cops 4 times over 2 days, complaining about noise, trespassing, suspicious behavior, you name it. Cops got tired of it pretty fast, especially after seeing my permits. So, not to be outdone, she employs a high school student for $20 a day to stand on this supposed HOA boundary in some phony security shirt. The kid was mortified, poor guy, but I suppose $20 is $20. Then she took it into overdrive. Stickers plastered on every surface, trees, mailboxes, hydrants, even the stop sign, large old no trespassing signs, as if public land were hers, and the pièce de résistance. She hand-delivered an official HOA violation notice to my doorstep. Purple ink star stamped the lot. I mean, it resembled something you'd receive from a third-grader student council. Nevertheless, it made me wonder, why was she so desperate? That evening, I began piecing things together. Karen had a little too much information about everything going on that lot. And she kept slipping up, saying it was my land before catching herself. Something more profound was afoot. Could tell. Well, things quickly escalated. Karen began sending out safety notifications on every neighborhood app warning people about this unsafe construction project. She even made sensational videos off her balcony and started a petition to have me evicted with her name and 2 clearly fake sock puppet accounts on it. And then, in what can only be called performance art, she'd get up on a lawn chair with a megaphone and yell at anyone who would listen about community devastation and apocalypse of property values. At some point, neighbors came over just to see the show. But that's where it gets crazy. While digging up the foundation for the swing set, my shovel connected with something hard. 2 foot down, I bring up this metal cash box. Open it. $3,000 in cash, along with handwritten receipts of payment from local construction firms, all organized and dated. On the bottom, a faded sign piece fragment, overnight parking, $25. Suddenly, the clouds parted and everything made sense. Walter Thompson, an old carpenter from next door, walked over. He'd always been nice, sometimes bringing me water. He just stares at the box and shakes his head like he's seen a ghost. Son Karen operated overnight parking here for years. Construction trucks, heavy equipment, you name it. 15, 20 vehicles at a time, cash only 3, maybe 4 grand a month. Turns out Karen wasn't standing up for her beloved HO. She was standing up for her cash cow, an entire underground enterprise created on public land tax-free. Look a little deeper and I discover more cash, some suspicious-looking business cards, Linda's Parking Solutions, along with customer contact information for a dozen local contractors. Karen had constructed a full-blown illicit enterprise right under everyone's eyes, then yelled about community safety whenever someone came near. With all that proof, I go to the city planning department and sit down with Rebecca, who's just as amazed as I am. She brings up maps of property. Not only am I far beyond the HOA's authority, the lots specifically marked public community use. Mrs. Patterson cannot hear. She informs me none whatsoever. She even produces old aerial photos of organized parking over the years. Clearly not city-sanctioned. Course Karen goes ballistic. She schedules an emergency HOA meeting in her garage, invites the entire neighborhood, and gets 4 people to show up, including herself. Then live streams the entire operation, almost confessing she raked in good money from the property before changing her tune. I rent a metal detector, dig again, and come up with an even larger safe, 8,000 cash, additional VIP client lists, piles of phony permits, signed land management coordinator, a title that does not exist. Walter, now fully on board, reports the parking lot at times resembled a construction depot. Karen was bringing in a minimum of 36 grand a year, all cash. But the best part, Karen hadn't even been actual HOA president for years. She was out of office in 2019. No elections, just lots of barking orders and signing documents with a title she no longer possessed. It was fraud stacked on top of fraud. And just when I thought it couldn't get any better, Karen hires a real lawyer, Richard Sterling, big shot HOA attorney, and sues me for everything bogus violation she can think of. Noise, property values, unpermitted construction, you get the idea. The thing is, her attorney has no idea she's got a stack of crimes. I meet a young lawyer, Isabella, who's got an attitude and a drive to fight for community rights. She leaps in pro bono, smelling a slam dunk. For 2 weeks, we interview neighbors and dig up HOA records. The day in court arrives. Karen rolls in like it's a red carpet event. Bright suit, 2 suitcases of evidence. And a live stream going for her 3 fans. Her lawyer gives a whole slideshow about community destruction and vigilante playground builders. And honestly, for a minute there, it felt like the judge was buying it. But then Isabella gets up and with complete serenity throws up the city map, the lines of the boundary, the proof of Karen's phony presidency and all those business documents. Karen goes berserk. Gets up, shouts about her business and how she worked for every dollar. She admits on the spot on tape to operating the entire fraud. Her attorney flees in panic. The judge, his face looking like it's aged 5 years and 5 minutes, dismisses Karen's case with prejudice, sanctions my project and recommends Karen for investigation, fraud, tax evasion, you name it. She's escorted out of the courtroom in hysterics. And I have to admit, I felt a sort of poetic justice in the air. But little did you know, it didn't end there. Karen's meltdown goes viral. 10 million viewers on late-night show punchlines. Fake President Karen memes everywhere. IRS hits her with a $40,000 invoice. She loses her job. Her home even gets HOA leadership banned for life. Meanwhile, our playground opens with fanfare. More than 200 families arrive. Local news labels me a hero. Businesses donate additional funds. And now I'm advising on property rights cases everywhere. Willow Creek has its first actual election in years. Walter is elected president, new bylaws, actual transparency, community pride reborn. I see Karen one day standing across the street, tattered attire, staring at the playground she attempted to murder. She stands there for a minute or so, paper in hand, and walks away. Just another individual to learn what it is like when you base your life on deception. That's how 3 minutes of truth ended a pretend president's tyranny and restored a whole neighborhood's dignity. You got to be brave enough to stand up to bullies, catch everything on tape, and battle with smarts. And if you've got a Karen in your life, just keep in mind that sometimes the best revenge is making their lies your legacy. If this tale got you fired up, leave a comment. Did I do the right thing fighting back, or did I cross a line? Have you ever had to deal with an impersonator of authority in your own life? Share your side with us. And hey, if you want more justice done right stories, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and hang in there because trust me, there's always another twist coming.